100% agree, man. Because like that, it's like reverse racism or something. Like,
Yeah.
just to be like, oh, well, they're great because they're black.
Yeah, at one point in time, it was like they're terrible because of that, and now it's like, we want to correct the sins of the past, so we're gonna say now you're great because of that.
Well, like what is great about them being black? Oh, because I don't know, X, Y, Z, because they can sing, they can dance, they can like, so now we all just can sing and dance. Huh? We're all just shucking and jiving over here, right?
Shucking and jiving
and enjoying our chitlins. Huh? Right. That's why we're great, right? Because that's even worse, man. It's like stereotyping. It's not good, you know?
Yeah.
This is Geek Off The Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between. What's up, everybody? Hey, we're back. Hey. We're back for another episode.
Yes, exciting episode.
Yes, as we always are.
Yeah, we are.
My name's Trent.
And my name is Marc.
And this is
Geek Off The Street.
Greatest podcast of all time. Talk about geek culture, pop culture, whatever else we want.
Deal with it.
This week is no exception because we're going to get into essentially what makes a good protagonist.
Right.
And among the world we're in now.
Yeah. We're gonna scratch the surface a little bit.
Yeah, and why strong characters aren't working well, particularly strong female characters.
Yeah.
A lot of this comes off, and not really, but in my own mind, I rationalize because I basically got called a sexist over the weekend over one of our Echo videos.
It was me.
Yeah, you made an account. But yeah, someone of the opposite gender of me did not like what I had to say about Echo and the actress. It targeted me a little bit because apparently I don't have any game because I say bad things about the actress and Echo.
That's clearly that's the logical conclusion.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah. But the point being, though,
I don't like this particular type of food. You clearly don't have any game.
Yeah.
Right. All right. If you don't like something, that's what that means.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So I didn't really get the line of reasoning. I didn't engage though because I was like, I can already tell that this doesn't make sense. So can't reason with somebody like that. But point is that I want to really talk about actually why we think certain characters aren't working in this day and age, particularly in Marvel and Star Wars and what they've been dubbed the strong female character or also the Mary Sue.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. And we want to get into a little bit of that, but also we'll talk about what makes a good protagonist also and why these a lot of characters in general, not just female characters, are failing in this day and age.
Right. I think it's interesting to say too. I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about this. And at some point in time, I had an epiphany, I think. And you kind of scratched on it right now, too, that talking about Marvel and, Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. And whenever you hear this on the internet, it's always that blanket statement of Hollywood is screwing up. Hollywood is doing this and doing that. And Hollywood has always had an issue with writing strong female characters, with writing good female characters. That's not saying there have not been some that are out there. I'm not saying that at all. There definitely have been some very well-written female characters out there, but I feel like if you were to talk to most actors that are female, they're going to say there are not a lot of good roles for us out there. So my point that I was going to say is I think overall it's not so much of a Hollywood issue. I think it is more of a Disney / Star Wars Marvel issue. Yeah,
because where a lot of it's coming from.
That's where a lot of it's coming from.
But also the noticeable because they're such a big property.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's they've dominated the box office. For the last a few years ago, they ran everything, and I think everybody wanted to get a piece of that pie. Yeah. So I get it that they get a lot of attention, they get a lot of focus, and then we have a podcast where we're talking about geek culture. So
and they're cornering 2/3 of
exactly.
It,
so
right?
You almost got no choice but to cover it. So and at this point they're just I feel like they're just an easy target. I feel like it's almost like I shouldn't even say this, punching down. It's not because they are who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so that's the only thing I was going to, the only point I wanted to make, that we have a spotlight on them because that's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not, I'm not ready to put the entire blame on Hollywood in general. But that being said, we'll get into some more about that later. But
yeah, most definitely. But before we get way too into that, what are we drinking this week? This was a video that was sent to us by one Z Daughter of Light, or Zoe Quinn, one of our newer but awesome, like, best fans right now. She has been,
that's just about to say,
like,
best friend.
Yeah. She has been like responding to all of our all of our videos, liking them all. Because we post content every single day, and she's been responding to them every single day, which has been awesome. And so she sent a clip about this drink called the New Zealand Passport. Interesting blend of drinks ingredients with vodka, some tawny port, maple syrup, and dash of bitters, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a good drink, man.
Maple syrup,
very interesting taste, but I think it's great, man. It's got sweet, but also vodka in there.
Yeah. I think the vodka kind of brings down the sweetness that might have been there.
Yeah, if it was just the port and the maple syrup,
but real maple syrup, guys. Don't, if you make it, please do not use, something that's going to be high fructose corn syrup. Just please splurge, treat yourself, get some real maple syrup.
Yeah, please.
And then once you try real maple syrup, it's going to be very hard to go back to regular syrup.
Yeah,
real maple syrup is
it's the best.
Yeah,
most definitely. I agree.
I'm done.
100%. So thank you, Zoe, so much. You're awesome. Thanks for checking out our content all the time. And
Zoe, if you've got some insight that you want to pass on to us, are we missing something? Is there something that needs to be said? I would have no issue taking advice or recommendations from her, because I don't feel like it'd be coming out of place of malice or like I've got to put these guys in their place kind of thing, or this is my moment to shine. I feel like it would be genuine advice or whatnot.
For her to say,
so if you have anything,
suggestions, advice, anything about what we're talking about,
please.
Yeah, and she seems to, and like, not to say that I want people to always agree with me, but she's been agreeing with a lot of things that we were saying.
Interesting,
on our shows. Cool. And I'm not sure if she 100% agrees with everything we're talking about, but sure she has been.
Does not, but
essentially enjoys our content. What she's been saying was what it seems like.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll still love you regardless.
Yeah, but check her out, Z Daughter of Light. She has her own show. It's a Paranormal Insight. It's a YouTube channel podcast thing. They haven't posted much recently, but check it out though. I watched a couple of episodes that they had, and it's pretty cool. She seems pretty awesome, and an ideal fan.
Sweet.
Yeah. So speaking of fans, we got a review on Apple Podcasts. It's been a long time since we've gotten one
on Apple. Yeah. So
thanks for doing this, and of course, it's from someone named Ken Jizzle Dizzle, which I'm sure it's Kenji, my cousin Kenji, and he wrote, "Awesome, great information and funny banter. Love the drinks of the day too, as do we. Hosts with different points of view and informative guests are a huge plus." So the guest, Kenji's been listening to our show every week.
Nice.
He listens to it when it comes out, day of, and he always gets back to us. So
Kenji glasses,
and he made these awesome GOTS glasses for us. So
he made it himself.
Yeah. So if you guys want to follow suit, jump on the podcast or Apple Podcasts, leave us a review,
and make us some glasses.
But we can use some more of those. That'd be great. Thanks for following us always. Video goes out every day. We're on the GOTS Pod and everything except for Facebook, which is his Geek Off The Street, sorry. And literally content goes up every single day, so you can't miss us. But I was gonna say something else too. I forgot.
I think you said something about you're going to give me $20, or
I was not going to do that because I don't have $20.
Had to try.
Yeah. I ran the Spartan run this week. This last weekend. Yeah, and I did the second time I've done the Spartan run.
Yeah.
And I shaved off like 40 minutes on my time.
Really? Wow, that's a pretty big shave.
Yeah, big jump. So the amount of training I'm sure has been helping out.
Nice,
I was still a little sore, but I went with my buddy Carlos. Shout out to Carlos. He didn't work out at all, and he actually
and he did it backwards.
Yeah, he did it pretty well. Yeah, he did all the obstacles.
Nice.
And I don't have a lot of grip strength, so like the climbing stuff, I wasn't ready. Like the ropes and stuff, I wasn't really good with.
Got the grip of a newborn,
but
kids.
He tore it up, man.
Nice.
Shout out to Carlos. But anyway.
Well, it sounds like you did something healthy and active.
Yeah.
I clearly need to do something healthy and active. For whatever reason, I was at work and I was getting up out of the car and my lower back just said no. And something I pulled a muscle or, several muscles, all the muscles that are in my lower back. And I was walking around like I was on eggshells for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I had never had any sort of like back issues before. I mean, I'm not as young as I pretend to be, but so I'm like, holy crap, is it all this like starting to catch up with me now? Should I start? Because I've not been in the gym. I haven't talked to anybody named Jim. I avoid all that stuff. It's been well over 10 years since I've done any sort of real working out kind of thing. So now I'm like, okay, it's clearly you can't play that game forever.
True.
So it felt like my lower back was like a house of cards.
That's
like
horrible.
Every time I walked, there was like there's like a little twitch of pain, or if I turned a certain way, it's like twitch of pain. It felt like it was just ready to collapse, and I was like literally trying to walk, trying to take my lower back. Like I was trying to not affect my lower back. I was trying to do everything I could to like walk around it, so to speak, or to work around it.
I get it.
It was like I was playing Jenga. Everything else was solid, steel girder, everything was great, and then in there were like some plywood was holding it up. And so it was, it sucked a lot. So
it's horrible. Yeah, no, coincidentally, you haven't been in the gym in 10 years. I've had back pain for the last 10 years since I was 24. So welcome to the club, man. I think it's like 60,
it only gets worse.
Yeah, it's like 65% of the world or something, 70% of the world has back pain at some point, I guess. And it's not like a lot of times not curable because it's not like a typical. Anyway. Not great, but since I've been going to the gym with my trainer, it's been a lot better.
Yeah,
so,
right on.
Yeah,
maybe, clearly that's what I need to do too.
Yeah, get in the gym, or I'll send you over to Dr. David, get you like adjusted a little bit.
Yeah. I thought about that too, but I was scared. I didn't want to like. I literally thought about that too, but I thought, is this like a chiropractic issue? I went to the doctor, and the doctor said it's like it's a muscle spasm or a muscle, sprain-ish kind of thing. So, like I said, I was like on bed rest, I just didn't want to take any chances.
Very fun
with re-injuring it or making it worse. That's always been like my fear, was like some sort of like major back issue. I hear about people like slipping a disc and like they're stuck.
Yeah,
they can't move.
It's the worst, man. Sometimes it would be so bad if I take a step, my back just gives out and I fall. It sucks, man.
Oy.
Horrible, but yeah. Speaking of bad luck, I'm getting off topic here. I know we're not. We don't do what we do.
No. We get right into it.
But
bear with us.
Tell me if this is me like being negative about everything in the world.
Yeah.
Or this is dumb shit happens to me for no reason. All right, so yesterday, right? Long day at work. Everyone knows I hate my job. No, that's not news. So I came home. I stopped, I went home. Long day. It took me like an hour and a half to get to my girlfriend's house. Traffic was so bad. Started Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A,
a good treat. I got Chick-fil-A and I got a strawberry shake because, I wanted to have a little extra treat because I had a bad day. So
as you should.
I have everything. I'm going up to her apartment.
Oh, don't tell me you dropped it.
I didn't. Well.
Okay, no, finish.
So I'm carrying my stuff. I'm getting I dropped something. Like I dropped I don't know, a hat or something. My hat.
Yeah.
I picked it up and I was like, I went to pick it up. My bag fell over here, so I went to pick it up. I was like, okay, this is getting annoying,
this is
but
too much falling,
I'm gonna be cool. I get to my girlfriend's door.
She slaps that out of your hand.
No, so I pulled my keys out of my pocket. Right, just pull the keys out of my pocket to unlock the door.
Yeah.
And the ring, right, where you put all your keys in. You have to put the keys in there on the ring.
Yeah.
The ring comes up, gets hooked into my duffel bag, like metal part, and goes all the way in. Like I put the thing through it all the way, and then it was like a part of the keychain. And then so now I'm like sitting here trying to get the key to the door.
Yeah.
With the shake in my other hand. And I just like rip it up and jam it in there to lock the door. Yeah. And then the shake spills everywhere off of my lunch bag and my sweater and stuff. And I was like, so I was pissed off, right? So I'm a typically pessimistic person. I'm a pretty angry person normally, and I look at the world pretty negatively. So like this would be one of those times where it's like, yo, well, you just look at all the bad things that happen to you and focus on that. I do, but this is stupid, right? Like, how does that motion, pulling the key out of my pocket, ring goes all the way through the ring on my duffel bag, and then it's a part of the keys now in just one motion?
Right? Yeah.
Like,
that is some crazy rare, like shouldn't be possible kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So and I get that, because I think that's, you have those kind of moments where it's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like that was like a 1 in a million shot and it happened. You know what I mean? I would say think about like you've been alive for 5,004 days.
Yeah.
And this is the first time something that crazy, or at least like that, has happened.
It's not though. Like, unfortunate things like that happen to me quite often.
Quite often.
More than they should.
Like something like that where it's like you're pulling out your keychain and there's no way it should have wrapped around and it wrapped and it hooked in. That sounds like that's like a 1 in a million kind of. I'm sure you have everybody has bad things that happen, but.
No, I mean, it's like, I crashed my car because my water bottle fell off the thing and the cap fell off. I reached down to grab it. I crashed my car.
That was terrible.
That's like that. Like that has to be a very specific, like a specific chain of events for that to happen.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of things.
But sometimes that happens though. Sometimes like that specific chain of events will happen. It's like that one or two things.
Right.
I mean, there have been plenty of times where I shouldn't say this, but where you're like you know what I mean? Like you're driving and you're like, you look up at the last minute kind of thing, and it was like, oh shit, I need to step on the brakes, or I need to turn, or if I had stayed, I'm like acting like I'm looking at my phone. I swear I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, you stay on your phone for one more second.
Yeah, for one more second, and like something crazy would have happened. There was a movie with Nicolas Cage and I think Meg Ryan. It was some sort of angel movie.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, and that's what it was like. Angels, like every time something like is about to go wrong, and an angel will like kind of tap you on the shoulder, and like, oh shit.
Oh,
that was pretty. It was a clever little thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole movie, but.
Oh, and it's pretty sad actually.
Yeah. I think I remember how it. It does have like a sad ending, but whatevs.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah. So
I just is in my life, I've noticed that a lot of things like that do happen to me typically, and it's like so like my catchphrase now, even with my girlfriend, is like, how does that even happen? Like, how does that even happen? It's like it's so normal for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, am I just a negative person focusing on the things that are annoying my life, or do I have bad luck, or am I like really clumsy or something?
I'll tell you the answer right now.
Yeah.
You're focusing on the negatives.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you see it so much, because you're focusing on it. So you like, I was, that example I was saying, like you've been alive for 5,000 days. You live your life like maybe today. I don't know if anything bad happened to you. Like bad stuff happens, but like nothing crazy and like, 1 in a million chance kind of thing happens to you. But that's what you see. That's what you focus on. I told you before I had a sales job, right?
Yeah.
And I would take people out and I would train them, right? And I was terrible at the job. I wasn't as good as it as I should have been. But my thing was, it was a job where you went business to business, people, you talk to people, and you were going to deal with a lot of negatives. It was they want you to talk to, and a lot of people are going to be like, wait a minute, I know that job. They want you to talk to 300 people, and you're only going to get 25 sales. That's what they're looking for, just 25 sales. So if you stick to that ratio, if you hit 300, you'll find 25 buyers. It's like it's like an automatic thing that just works that way. So my thing was, when you're taking people out and training them, and they're seeing this for the first time, some people will tend to focus on the negatives. Like, wow, that's another no. That's another no. That's another no. That's another no.
Yeah.
And you can have like hours of getting no's. But the thing is, if you stick to the system, you'll be okay. So this is what I did. I told people like right now, and I would literally like reach into my pocket and pull out my pocket, and it'd just be like, just the bunny ear sticking out, right?
Yeah.
Like it's empty. By the end of the day, we are going to have a wad of cash that's going to look like that. By the end of the day. That is my promise to you.
Yeah.
Right? So hand back in the pocket, start going. And we're like, no, 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 no. And that, like I said, it'll be for hours, but you will start to find buyers, right? And then again, by the end of the day, you will reach into your pocket and you show them that wad of cash. And in their mind, this is like just, I don't want to say it's like sneaky sales stuff, but in their mind, they're like, wow, we had nothing in our pocket at the beginning of the day. And now we got a wad of cash like this.
Yeah.
Like we did it kind of thing. My point is, when I'm taking these people out and training them, I had them focusing on the positives because I knew the negatives are going to be out there, and there's going to be a ton of them. I think I see that bug still in here. But my thing is, like, if you focus on the positive stuff, it'll outweigh it. You know what I mean? So I will guarantee you that's what it is. And there's always going to be negative stuff that's going to happen. That's guaranteed. And there's always going to be that 1 in a million thing that's going to happen. That's guaranteed too, you know? But I would say, like, maybe I don't know what the condition of your keychain ring. I don't know the condition of your bag. I don't know how, maybe you were carrying too much at one time. Maybe you should have set the stuff down instead of.
Probably. And
my point is, I'm not trying to say this, this is, where you messed up what you should have done. In a nutshell, you're focusing on, that's what you're seeing. You know what I mean? But I would say that's what a majority of people do. Yeah. A majority of people see that and they kind of get mad. But if you focus on, if you start focusing on little small things that are not bad, that are happy, that are good, like I said, it'll I don't want to say it'll change your perspective. I don't want to go that far kind of thing, but maybe it'll help balance out. Maybe it'll help when something bad does happen. It'll just be like, sometimes bad things happen. Yeah, sometimes happen. That's, and I don't know, it might help make it easier to deal with too, just saying like, oh, well, sometimes shit happens and then you just keep on trucking. Those are two sayings. Sometimes shit happens.
I guess, man, but the level and the amount of times things like that happen to me is odd. It's very odd.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because you're focusing on it.
But why? Has that ever happened to you? Something like, does that happen to you?
It has. I don't think it happens. It doesn't happen like every day. I don't think it's not like something that happens like every week or whatever. At least maybe not that I notice. No, I don't know. One thing is I tend not to dwell on like anything, which I don't know. That can be a good or a bad thing, I suppose. But again, I think it's if you see that and it's like, this happened. You know what I mean? Then that's what you're gonna focus on. You know what I mean? If that's what you see and that's what you're calling out. You're not calling out, when something good happens. You're not calling out when something not bad happens. You know what I mean? You're missing all this stuff that's happening as well. So I think it's in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. And the reason why we're talking about that is because I focus on all the negatives with all the poorly written characters that we've gotten these days in the world.
Nice.
That's what
you did here.
That's what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that directly, I just got
we're segueing
another story.
Out of it again?
Yeah, one more story. No, I just got to talk a little bit about what makes a good protagonist. That's the important thing,
we're
right?
still on topic.
Yeah. So. Really, it's very simple. Like it really is a simple formula to be a good character. And there's not. I mean, it's tried and true. Obviously, there's different levels of it. There's different ways to tell a story. There's ways to like the protagonist could be the villain. You know what I mean? Like could be that.
Yeah.
Like from his perspective, he's the bad guy. But
right, sure.
But he's the protagonist of the story, right? So there are different ways to. There are variations, is what I mean to say. But really, it's very simple. Like, you just need to have... Your protagonist needs to have both a motivation and a somewhat relatable personality trait. Right? A motivation, so the goal, what do they want to achieve?
Right.
A relatable personality trait, something that relates to somebody. Because not every character is going to relate to somebody, right? So, like, great examples last week, we talked about Zom 100. Akira, I related so much to him prior to when he becomes happy, when he's so miserable at his job. That applies to me so well. But like somebody who's never had a job before, who's never had a job that they hated before,
Yeah.
they wouldn't get it. That wouldn't resonate with them as much as it would.
Agreed.
For
Definitely.
me.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So, a great example, I was watching Alien today, which it's gonna be a different thing next week. But Ripley goes back to save the cat. I don't like cats, so I was like, "Get the fuck out of there, man!"
Yeah.
Like if you would have not gone back for the cat, you probably could have saved those other 2 people that got killed, or you could have been you could have been more useful than trying to find this damn cat.
Yeah,
and like
the human life isn't worth it.
Right,
that's a very
very
dangerous situation you're in.
But if it was my dog, I get it because I love dogs.
Okay,
right?
okay,
But somebody else would love cats. Like, oh, I would do that. I'd go back for my cat.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that. Like they're very, but it has to appeal to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. It has to appeal to somebody. Right. And that's basically it. Characters got to be that, and then obviously some flaws, realistic flaws, like actual flaws, not like, oh, she's too pretty, or he's too strong. It's like that's not really a flaw. That's like painting it as a flaw, but it's
and again it goes back to that relatability thing too.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So make it relatable. So those are the things those are the key ingredients to making a good character. I think personally, for me, making a good protagonist.
Yeah,
so have them relatable, have a motivation, and then have the story be told by them, not the story moving them along.
Right. Yeah.
Them moving the story along.
Yeah.
So those are what it takes for making a good character. Simple, straightforward. If you want to tell the typical hero's journey, it's very simple. He starts in one point. He has a goal. What's in his way? And how does he get around that to reach his goal or not reach his goal?
Yeah.
That's very easy, very simple. That's how you create a character. The problem with characters now is that they don't have really any of those things. A lot of them start off perfect or super powerful, not really with any actual flaws. So that's already in and of itself not relatable, right? A lot of people will write the characters they wish they could be, or that they can put themselves in this perfect situation, and I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah,
trying to create this character that is better than who they are.
Right. Yeah. This fantasy version of what they wish they were, kind of thing, or what they wish they could be.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not nobody relates to that.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world relates to that because nobody is that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has all the answers. Everybody has to struggle to get what they want at some point.
At some point.
And that's what makes it relatable. You know what I mean? And that is not being done now. And there are a lot of great examples of that. But sorry, do you want to jump in there at all?
No. That was great. I agree with all of that. The only thing that I would add in there is right now there is, and again earlier in the show I was talking about it's not necessarily Hollywood's fault. It's more of we were talking about more like Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, all that kind of stuff. But that being said, it seems like Hollywood on some levels now they are starting to go that route where they're more interested in I didn't even want to say representation. That's kind of what they're aiming for. That's what it kind of seems like. But they're more interested in doing all these things on the outside. Yeah. Instead of focusing on, what you're saying, what a good protagonist should be, what a good story should be, what a well-written story should be. Yeah. And they wanted, like we were saying, again, last episode, they want to check off all these different boxes. Or maybe the episode before that, I apologize. They want to check off all these boxes instead of focusing on what is the important thing, which is the story and it being written well. And that is 100% always going to be the core of what's important, is telling a real and genuine story and doing it well. Yeah. And if they're focusing more on we need to have A, B, C, and D, then it's going to suffer. There's going to be a balance. It's not even a balance. It's just it's taking away from everything that the story could be. And that is kind of the thing, and that's going on in Hollywood now. Like they are literally saying like things that are, and I got this from a different podcast, but they're saying things like the Oscars are going to start saying that they want you to have, in order to be like a nominee, you've got to have this kind of inclusion going on. You've got to have someone that's going to be of, you know, whatever it may be, something other than. And I don't know why I'm out here defending, like, you know, like, you know, like the white males, but it seems like it's everything but that. They want you to have, if someone is of a certain race, a certain creed, a certain blah, 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 they want to see that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then like, it's always supposed to be about the story. That's always what it's supposed to be about, and, you know, with Hollywood, or at one point in time it was, but yeah. So that's the only thing I would kind of put in there as well. Yeah. Agreeing with you. And yeah, it's an issue that I don't know, Marvel is really running with, but Hollywood is saying, they're kind of saying the same thing as well, to a slightly lesser extent.
Yeah. I think so too. And I guess, man, just jumping right into the Mary Sue situation, right? The strong female character situation. There's a template. There are examples of it being done well, like Princess Leia, Ripley. What was the recent? Pretty much everything Emily Blunt has ever done, like the character in Edge of Tomorrow, the character in Looper, the character in she played one more. In
Edge of Tomorrow. So you said already, or
the one with her husband, with Jim.
A Quiet Place.
Yeah, another one. Very, very strong character. You know.
Yeah.
And I think she actually did an interview where she said if she ever sees a script that she opens up and the first page says the description of the character is a strong female lead, she just closes it. It's like, this is boring. I don't want to do that. That's not a character I want to play. I want to play a character that's interesting.
Yeah.
Not a character that's a strong female lead because of, you know, strong females, you know?
Yeah.
And there are like countless examples of, well, maybe not countless, but there are a lot of examples of characters that are done right, where characters that are shown with flaws. They start at one point, they get to another point, they have goals, and we go on that journey with them. And it's weird, right? Because it seems like it's kind of like, well, we need to make the female characters be like the male characters. Like, that's what we need. We need to just put them in that situation, and then we'll have a strong female character.
Yeah.
Like a tough talking, badass, I can beat up everybody kind of character, but it doesn't work because it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
In the sense of like developing a character, I guess. And like characters like Captain Marvel or Rey or She-Hulk, all these recent characters that are not following that path. They start off with the answers, and really it's so interesting that with these characters, the world is the problem. Like, they're not the problem. Like, the world is the problem, and the world needs to adjust to match them versus the other way around.
Nice.
Which is that's also really that's mental. That's like a crazy person's thought process. Like, everything else is the problem. I'm not the problem. The whole world is the problem. So you need to catch up to me. And that's how all these characters have been portrayed as. Like, the only reason why they're not successful is because of something like Captain Marvel's inhibitor chip. Like, that's why she's not reaching her full potential, because they put a chip on her to keep her from reaching all her powers. So really, you had the power it was inside you the whole time.
Yeah.
The only reason why is because some man held you back or whatever, you know, X, Y, or Z. And so
and that's how the writers are writing them.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking about, you know, living, you know, they're living some, you know what I mean? They write the characters that they want or wish they could be. So they're kind of living vicariously through their characters.
Yeah.
In a sense. So maybe that's how a lot of the writers feel. Like, I was gonna say maybe a lot of these writers feel like, again, that same thing. It's like, it's not me, I'm great. It's the rest of the world, which is that's kind of toxic. That's not a good way to think.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say, I'm thinking about it now that you say this, in their defense, maybe that's how they feel. Maybe the reason why they're writing that is because they feel like, I have these obstacles that are holding me back, that are in my way, and blah, blah, blah. And it is, you know, on some level, I mean, we have to admit it, there's some truth to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, in the world, women are not treated well in general. You know, just over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like they're all, you know, everyone's just like, you know, stealing from them and, you know,
Walking
doing all
all
this
over 'em or
aggressive
whatever,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that's just in general. I mean, everybody knows that they're paid less and
Yeah.
everything else in the
Treated
world and then
differently.
treated differently.
Yeah.
And then especially if you go into different parts of the world,
Yeah.
they're like not even treated like second. They're treated like worse than second class citizens, kind of thing. So that is a real thing. And maybe that's I'm just not really thinking about it. Maybe that's the reason why they write that way, because that is how they feel or how they have felt at some point in time. And this is how they can vent it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the problem is, again, it goes back to, you know, right back to the beginning of what you're saying. It's not relatable, you know, especially when it comes to like the, you know, the Marvel, Star Wars, DC, DC or whatever, that kind of thing. Like those are stories that are about heroes, and like you said, that they go on the, you know, the classic hero quest on some in some form or another. And if you're just taking that time just to vent your own frustration, as opposed to telling the story of how this character is gonna, you know, overcome it, or maybe not overcome it and fail. Yeah. You know, the whole point of any story is there is supposed to be some sort of lesson to learn at the end of it.
Yeah, and they have to fail to succeed. Like they really,
if you want to succeed. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of failure in there, you know?
Yeah.
You can't, like you said, you can't just get what you want or have what you want the whole way through. You know, it's not going to be anything anybody cares about. Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Maybe the reason why a lot of them write that way is they're venting in a sense.
Which I'm sympathetic to, and I agree with. Like I agree with that, and it does need to change, right?
Right.
But the way it's being portrayed as it changed, as they're having it change, it's not. Yeah,
you're not.
Sense,
yeah, you're not.
Right?
Yeah, you're not getting. You're not bringing anybody to your side. No one's thinking like, I don't know, you're alienating more people than you are getting them to your side.
Exactly, yeah.
And my thinking is, if you want to get them to your side, you need to tell a better story, a more relatable story, not it almost feels like it's finger pointing with these stories. Yeah. You know? So that's not it's not gonna help the
case. And I was watching this one video that was compared there's like a fight scene in that new movie, The Woman King, or The Woman or something like that. Yeah. And they're like, this 57-year-old like woman who's, you know, whatever, 5 feet, 120 pounds, like beats up this guy who's like 6'5", like a 6'5", 250-pound warrior. Yeah. Like takes punches in the face and then she overpowers him, right? And then they showed like the whatever the recent Charlie's Angels movie was. Yeah. And they showed, I think it was Kristen Stewart's character, like beating up this dude, like physically overpowering this guy that's way bigger than her, right? And then he showed like scenes of Sarah Connor like getting out of that insane asylum in Terminator 2. Yeah. Where she's like using tricks and stuff, and she gets the baton. She is crafty about beating these males that are much bigger than her. Right. Like she's using creative ways to beat them. And it's like, that makes sense. Right. Like I'm not being sexist when I say that men are physically bigger. Right. Like we're stronger. Yeah. We have like muscle density, our bone density is bigger. So we are just physically bigger and stronger.
And that's just
an
animal thing. Like most animals in nature are like that, especially most mammals. Right. And if you get into, I mean, in the insect world, the spider will dominate. A female spider will dominate a male spider 100% of the time. Right. It's a massive difference. Yeah. And in some parts of the animal world, that is how it is. But when you're dealing with mammals, when you're dealing with human beings, that's it. That is what it is. And it is not by any stretch meaning that men are better. Yeah. And some men may think that. Some men may, well, no, that's exactly what it means. And the only thing I would say, if you are equating strength to being better than someone, then you are wrong. Yeah, yeah. Stronger than someone, Sure.
Maybe,
if you are a male that can bench press 500 pounds and you're a female that can bench press 300, then the male is stronger. That's clear. Are you better than her? You are not better.
Yeah, exactly.
You may be stronger. You may be faster. She may be stronger. She may be faster. But the whole concept of better should not come into play.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. But just if you're from a physical standpoint,
right?
If you're
just going by the numbers.
Yeah, just go on the numbers from like if we're taking the same age, same range, that kind of thing. Like obviously you compare me to like a female track star, I'm gonna get blown out of the park. You know,
sure.
I'm gonna get dunked on by a WNBA player. You know, that's how like, I'm not physically better than people that are like physically better than me. You know,
I wouldn't, but yeah.
But like, carry on. But naturally, though, just from a natural standpoint, we're just naturally bigger.
Yeah.
So to have someone who is 100 pounds physically overpower somebody that's like 250 pounds, you know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So if you're writing characters, just like, well, I need to make them stronger. I need to make them the better one. And we can't show them have any weaknesses compared to the bad guy, which is in this case the big man, the big mad man. We have to just make him more powerful, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work because you're overcompensating, you're overcorrecting.
Yeah.
Trying to be like, well, it has to just be black and white, stronger, physically stronger, and that's it. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense in the writing. You know what I mean? So I watched that video. I was like, that makes sense. So like the reason why it's not working now is because it's just like they're physically stronger, they're smarter, they have no flaws, they have all the answers, there's nothing to learn, and there's no journey to go on. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. But we're also in a dangerous time where it's like if we sit here and say that, it's just like, oh, well, you just hate females.
Right.
Which is also like, that's not it at all.
Yeah.
That's not what we're saying at all. Like,
right. And I mean, we said this 2 episodes ago, especially with the Echo. I know I was saying too, like we do want representation because I again, being 2 minorities, I think we both know what it's like to not see yourself represented. You know what I mean? You feel that and you're aware of it. But like I also in that episode, you know when it's pandering, you know when it's not real and it's not genuine, and you don't appreciate it. You know, you want to see real representation, not fantasy representation in a real situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
no, I get it, man. Like man, and I know people aren't. I don't know. A lot of people don't love it, but when Linsanity happened with Jeremy Lin and the basketball player, and he had that like time period where he was like on fire, and he like freaking crossed up Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Like watching that happen, like an Asian American dude dominate in professional basketball. That was awesome. That was inspiring. I saw that. I was like, oh, that's great, man. For a 5'7", 5'8" Asian man on a good day. A 5'8". I'm like 5'17", really, man. But no, like a 5'8" American Asian man. That I played basketball, but you know, I had a clear disadvantage. You know what I mean? To see that happen, that's awesome. That's inspiring. But that is like it's real. That's real. That actually happened. That was great.
Yeah.
But then you see, like, again, I don't know why I keep using Shang-Chi. That's the only one I can really think of because that's all we've gotten, you know, as far as Asian superheroes recently. It doesn't feel like it's natural because it feels very forced. It feels very, like, not genuine. So, basically, I agree with you. I agree with you. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say, and man, I feel like I got to say it carefully. I have a lot of females in my life, right? So just for that reason, not in a way like, oh, you're out there macking, not at all. But I just mean I have sisters, I have goddaughters, daughters, all this kind of stuff. I've got a lot of people, a lot of females in my life that I care about, like cousins, aunts, all this kind of stuff, right? And at one point in time, I'm just gonna, kind of mention it. At one point in time, and this is a long time ago, I was listening to some song and, it's something about, she's on the floor and she's, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
doing
yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like getting into it. And for whatever reason, like I had like this snap went off and like, wait a minute, I'm, singing this and thinking this about whatever.
Yeah.
Does that mean someone else is thinking this about my aunt, about my sisters, my goddaughters,
Yeah.
all the people in you know what I mean? I had this terrible moment where I grew up a little bit, unfortunately, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not enjoying this quite as much, you know what I mean? Because now I'm thinking, like, again, from just like your typical male whatever thing, I'm thinking like, oh man, I love that. I love seeing pretty girls and all this kind of stuff. But now I'm thinking like, okay, now someone else is going to be doing this with my family because they're listening to this song. And I'm not pointing the finger at music or video games and that kind of thing, but I didn't like thinking in that way, right? That someone else is going to hear this and they're going to think, oh yeah, here's another chick, get on the floor, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right? So that I don't agree with that. I don't like it. But then I took it to another step further, right? Because then I started listening to other, female performers. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them talking about, all maybe I'm just being an old man talking about all the, the stuff that they do and how they'll do this and they'll do that. And I blah, 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 blah. And I want there to be, I don't want to say equalization, even if that's the right word. I don't know. I want things to be equal, right? I want things to be fair for everybody, no matter what. For every single person on earth, I want things to be fair for them.
Yeah.
And I wonder if and I don't know. So maybe, someone that is female might have to weigh in on this because I can't say it. I can't say it.
Yeah.
For a fact, but if someone else can say, I feel like sometimes a lot of females in media, especially like when it comes to certain music or whatever, I get them wanting to be equal, but it feels like they're trying to be like men to be equal. And I mean, they're trying to be like men in the sexually aggressive and, only wanting money and, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. When I hear that, I wonder, like, and again, I want everything to be equal, but is that what the goal is? Like, do females, and this obviously isn't all of them.
Yeah.
But do you want to be as bad as the men are that you complained about?
Yeah.
Or do you want things to be fair? Does being fair and equal mean now I get to be as shitty as the men were and have always, that I've always complained about?
Yeah.
Now I get to be shitty like them. You know what I mean? Or do you want to be better and just not be persecuted?
Yeah.
And have all this, have things taken away from you, not being treated fairly? Like, what's the goal? What was the ultimate goal? You know what I mean? And then like it kind of flipping this into the movies and everything. It kind of feels like that. Like you were saying, like a female that's 100 pounds going up against somebody that's like, 200 plus pounds, and you're completely dominating them through strength alone. It feels like they're trying to be like the men. They're trying to be like males.
Yeah. They're trying to take what was successful about, I mean, this isn't even a term, but strong male characters, like male protagonists, and just doing the same thing but with a female. Yeah. And we're two different genders. We're two different, we're different people. We're different, anatomically, mentally, we're different. Yeah. So try to take them and put them in that same spot. Why? Yeah. Like why does that need to be the way it's done? Because there are other ways to do it, right? And, and like, do you want to be the chain smoking alcoholic, gruff dude that beats on ladies or something
right,
like that.
or yeah, they're just
whatever,
just has a whole bunch. They're just screwing everything that comes around, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's that classic thing. Like when a guy does it, he's a stud, he's awesome. But when a chick does it, she's terrible. She's no good.
That's double standard thing.
It's 100%. It's 110% a double standard. But I mean, and I don't know. I don't know. And again, this isn't going to be for every single woman out there, every single female out there. But is that the goal? Do you? And maybe that's what it is. Maybe some do want to do that. Maybe some do want to. I want to go out and play the field and do what I want.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the bit. Maybe that's how you think of it. Some do and some don't, and that's just it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's
true.
That's how some guys are. Some guys want to do one thing, and some guys want to do something else. So
yeah. No, definitely. That's how it is.
I don't know. But as far as like a strong female characters, I feel like there's, I don't know, especially I don't know if it's when it comes to action movies. Maybe here's the thing. Maybe in order to have fair treatment, equal whatever, the question is, do you try to do that in an action movie? Like maybe Hollywood needs to write, and this has always been a thing where they don't write a lot of good, strong female characters. And I feel like a lot of female actors that are in Hollywood will tell you that there's not a lot of good roles out there for them. If you're trying to get that message across, do you need to shoehorn that into an action movie?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to go a different route to do it, as opposed to trying to force it in there where you're clearly not writing it very well, or it's not being done very well.
Right. Yeah.
Like
for the market that is, right?
Right.
Like even for even for our show. Our show is, I think it's 86% males between the age, I think, of 16 and 34 or something like that. That's our demographic. So that's just the facts. That's just what it is. That's who listens to our show, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So take that into account with the action movies, right? I'm not saying that women don't watch action movies. That's not at all what I'm saying.
Right, exactly.
But it's probably 80% men that want to go see cars blow up, because we're men, man. We're
kids,
dumb, but we like destruction and senseless violence. Like that's just what we do. That's what we're interested in. So to take that, like, do you need that genre?
Yeah,
to
right,
show
right.
what you're trying to show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not to say, and again, not to say that there aren't amazing female action stars and action movies with female characters. Like, I'm not saying that's not the case at all. But
when you're trying to push the agenda and you're not writing good characters, then you've messed up.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, man, it's like that the Charlie's Angels movie that got made, the recent one, and it was like Elizabeth Banks was touting it as like, oh, this isn't for the white male. This is not what that movie's for. And the movie tanked. Yeah. And then turn around like, oh, males didn't show up. Well,
you just said.
You marketed it as a way to not be for, not be for your typical male moviegoer. Yeah. And then that's who's buying the tickets though. So like, why would you alienate that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the same with like Star Wars with the Rey movie coming out. I mean, again, women watch. There are women Star Wars fans. There are a lot of them out there, especially now in this time when it's okay to be a geek. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there are a lot more women now watching Star Wars and choosing Star Wars now, but it's still predominantly men that want to go watch a nerdy Star Wars movie.
Yeah. You know what I wonder is, how many female Star Wars fans prefer the newer stuff, the stuff that we got like 20-ish years ago, or the original stuff. I'd be curious to. I wonder what that ratio is. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the Star Wars fans, male, female, whatever. I don't want to say they all like the original ones better necessarily, but I feel like a Star Wars fan is going to be, swinging more towards the
original
earlier stuff,
Yeah.
than this one.
That's the best stuff.
Stuff that came out in the 70s and the 80s. And then I would say that'd be first. I would say second would definitely be the prequels.
Yeah.
And then I feel like this new stuff would be the third on that list. I feel like.
But I mean, again, like we were talking a couple weeks ago about that issue, that thing that happened with Star Wars Theory, and he had that big like blow up with like all these like women influencers that called him out for saying that he thinks that women don't watch Star Wars, which he didn't say.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's a lot of those influencer type people that love Rey and love the modern Star Wars and cosplay as them and are okay with it when like they're not good.
But see, I always wonder what that graphic, what that number is, right? Because I kind of said the same thing, and I'm going to keep this really brief. It's not about politics, but I say the same thing with politics. I feel like 20% on this side represent people, or maybe even 10%, let's say, but then there's like another 10% on the other side, and those are the ones that are the loudest. Those are the ones that are on the platform, social media, just screaming their heads off on either side. And then the 80% of the middle are the ones that don't care about going on social media, unless it's like maybe some sort of comment to leave or something. But the majority of people, like I got to go to work in the morning. I don't got time for this. I've got to I got to help the kid with his homework. I got to get dinner ready. Right. I got to, help my spouse with something. I got to clean the house. I got
record a podcast.
There's other things going on. So I feel like the ones that make the most noise are on the outliers. Exactly. The extremists
on both sides.
On both sides. On both sides.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't know. I don't know what we're saying with that. But point being is that there are a lot of issues.
There are.
And it's interesting. It's very interesting. And I don't know, man. Again, back to the very first point. There's a simple formula to make an engaging character, an engaging protagonist that we could all like, regardless of gender, orientation, race, creed, nationality, whatever. Like, all good protagonists have to have that formula.
And it's that is storytelling 101. That's like your basic stuff.
And it should never, ever be they're great because of whatever they identify as. That should be a secondary thing, or even a third thing.
Not even a thing.
It should just be a happen to. You know
they shouldn't be great because of that. Because now you're really, you're I don't know. I don't want to say segregating, but you're discriminating. You're saying that that's what this is. Like, oh, if you are this, then you're great. If you're that, then you're great. And I feel like if you talk to most people that are whatever they are, it's like, I'm not great because of that. That's part of who I am, but I'm great because of me. It's because of my mind, my intelligence, my personality, my heart, the things I care about. That's what makes a real person. Nobody wants to be looked at because they are gay, because they are straight, because they are black, because they are white or male or female. That is all, like you're saying, like not even secondary, it's third stuff. Like, don't look at me and make your opinion or think something about me because of that. And this, I don't want to quote this, but judge a person by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin, by how they identify themselves, by male, female, blah, blah, blah. That's what you need to focus on, Hollywood.
Exactly. A, we're clipping that. That's a good clip. But B, I 100% agree, man. Because like that, it's like reverse racism or something. Like, just to be like, oh, well, they're great because they're black.
At one point in time, it was like they're terrible because of that, and now it's like, we want to correct the sins of the past, so we're gonna say now you're great because of that.
Well, like what is great about them being black? Oh, because I don't know, X,
Goes
Y,
up.
Z, because they can sing, they can dance. They
Yeah,
can be like,
yeah.
so now we all
Oh,
just
now
can
we all
sing and
gotta
dance.
sing and dance,
Yeah. We're all just shucking and jiving over here, right?
Shucking and jiving.
And enjoying our chitlins, huh?
Right.
That's why we're great, right? Because that's even worse, man. It's like stereotyping. It's not good, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not. It's insulting, really, is what it is. You know what I mean?
It is.
So
It is.
yeah.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's insulting. It's like I didn't do this. I'm not here because of my own merit.
Yeah.
Like you just looked at me and you said, "Oh, you've got this and you got this and you got this." Then come on board.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
not helping the situation because you're doing the exact same thing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like no, I'm an awesome person already because of who I am. It just happens to be that I'm Japanese, which is extra awesome. So that's what I'm saying. It's just an extra.
That's just a thing. Yeah. That's just a bonus.
Yeah,
you
it's
get.
just a bonus. Yeah, yeah. So don't focus on that, right? And and then again, back to the Mary Sue characters one more time is just that it's like it has become about like these female characters have to represent us as a gender, and our story has to be focused on our gender.
Yeah.
When who gives a shit, man? Like that, I like Indiana Jones. Like it wasn't like he was great, and also because he's a man. I don't give a shit about that, man.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just great because he's an adventurer.
Right.
He
He's
finds relics and he has a cool whip.
He's an
and
archaeologist.
Archaeologist,
Right.
yeah. And that's it. You know, and
Yeah.
he's a rugged, attractive man, I guess. You
Right.
know, like that. That's that. But that's extra.
Yeah.
But it's not because and because he's a man. Who cares about that?
Mm.
I wouldn't give a shit. Like it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter. So like there's a clear difference in like the focus on like the reason how to feel sympathetic for somebody. Like I don't care. Like I don't care about a lot of that stuff. I care about the things that I care about. And things that make me sympathetic of people are specific. They're specific to me, obviously.
Yeah.
But like you're not gonna get my vote for something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. So
Yeah, and I mean, and there are plenty of Indiana Jones is like that's a fun character and all that kind of stuff, right? But there are plenty of just regular human characters, female characters that are great that can carry the story. When you go back to we were talking about Alien, right?
Oh, yeah.
So and then we'll have a debate about this later once you see it, but I think. I won't say Aliens is the better movie. It's a different movie, but I think Ripley has a better arc in that story, 100% than I would say in Alien, the first movie. So there's that kind of thing, and then even with Sarah Connor, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic female character. Man, she is phenomenal.
The best, yeah.
She really is. She's
great.
so messed up.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense why she's messed up. And you the only ones that know, we're talking about Terminator 2 now, everybody.
Yeah.
The only people that know the truth of what's going on really, really are Sarah Connor and us, the audience.
Yeah.
So we are there with her.
Yeah.
And that scene when she's just freaking out, like you're all dead, and she's just, you hear it in her voice, how freaking like she's like you don't understand. You're already dead. You don't understand it. Man, her performance is fantastic.
Yeah, perfectly casted, man.
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
And the way they portray her, man, like is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Like every even from I mean, one's great too, but two, God, man, they're.
It makes it that much. I mean, one makes it that much better. She was a waitress,
regular
in
ass,
one.
man, just
regular
a
ass, and then she's like the
hard boy,
baddest person in the
world. But this
world?
is what causes that to happen.
Right.
This is why she's so hard boiled now.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why she's in a fucking flak jacket with a cigarette in her mouth.
Yeah.
And with a bag of guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is why she is who she is, because of her experience.
Yeah.
And where is that now? Like where is that experience that makes you become that person?
Right.
good or bad? You know what I
That
mean?
we all relate to, and that we all want to cheer for.
And makes you sympathetic, man.
Yeah.
Like you feel bad for who she is.
Yeah,
now
you feel
because
bad
of,
for her,
like,
yeah.
she didn't ask for this.
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
This is horrible for this all to happen to her.
Yeah.
You know? It's that. There's no forced sympathy in there. There's no. It's just. I might go back. I haven't watched Terrain in a long time.
Yeah,
man. I might go back and watch that.
yeah.
That just scene popped in my head where she was like with the liquid guy. What's the T8?
T1000.
T1000. Yeah. And like he's on the freaking platform. And she's like racking the shotgun with one hand. Bam, racking it with one hand.
So do you know who I am?
Yeah. So badass,
right.
dude. Like there's nothing forced about it. Natural.
Yeah.
Right there. Sarah Connor. There's your character. Emulate that.
Can't wait for you to watch Aliens, man. I'm curious to get your your take on that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out this week for sure. But anyway, I hope we dispelled some of the things that we think about it. Like, and I know. I mean, I feel that we're pretty fair with how we approach it.
Yeah.
We say some things here and there that are questionable. I mean, I don't really care, but I mean, like
everything
is from. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say everything that we're saying is like it's the truth. You know what I mean? We're not saying anything to attack anyone or anything like that. And when we ask a question, like I say, you know, if somebody wants to weigh in on this, I am genuinely saying. If you have a different opinion, 100%, please tell it to me. Whenever I have an argument or debate with someone, I'm not interested in winning. I'm interested in getting to the truth. So if you can convince me, if you've got something to say that makes sense and is logical, tell it to me. If you're just gonna, you know, come at me with, you know, anger and you're mad and you're like, don't waste both of our time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you can't say something that's, you know, like logical and genuine, then you're not doing anybody any good. Yeah. And you see that like so much, again, getting into politics, you see all that in politics where it's just, everyone's just, they're not talking with each other. They're talking at each other. And it's just, it's a waste of time. And I hate seeing it, you know? So if that's what you're interested in doing, respectfully, go do it someplace else. It's okay. You can do that. Just
yes, we're not.
We're interested in honestly trying to get at the truth. And again, like like we said, we are two guys up here. I can't say for a fact what the female experience is because I do not know. From the outside looking in, I want to understand as much as I can. Yeah. And I want to be as fair as I can. Both of us do. Yeah. So, like I said, if you've got something you want to add, please do. Please
let us know. And I try to respond to those people that were, you know, having trouble having problems with what we were saying about Echo. And they didn't respond back. So it's like, you know, I try to have a dignified conversation. Yeah. I think I've gotten better at that as time's gone on. Yeah,
I would say so.
You and I are different people. Yeah. In a lot of ways, but I think I've gotten a little better about that. I think I think we're being fair. I really do think we're being 100%, fair. Again, there's no malice at all. We do rib a lot of things, and I think we say some funny stuff about certain things. Yeah. All in good fun.
Right. I think I think if you hear like 99% of the conversation, it's something real and genuine, and then there's a stupid joke thrown in there. Like, don't latch on to the stupid joke. Yeah. Don't focus on the negative. See what I did there? Right. See what I did there?
No, someone's gonna clip the part where I talked about being Japanese and be like, "Oh, this guy is a freaking Japanese extremist. He thinks that that's the Western world." Like, no, man, that's not. Didn't say that. Right. Well, they're gonna clip that now. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. It's just
re-edit it.
Yeah. He's kind of monster.
There was one. Yeah, I know you were saying there was someone said like read a comic. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like.
You want me to send you the picture of my stacks of comics?
Yeah. Don't tell this guy to read a comic because he already is. So that's silly. Yeah. But the getting into that though. I think that's part of the issue. Like the writers did not read the comics. Yeah. You need to say that to them. Right. Yeah. They didn't read the comics. And you can go online and you can see all these different interviews of all the different head writers for all these different Marvel shows. Yeah. None of them have read the comic books. Yeah. Exactly. What are you talking about? And I know maybe on some levels, maybe they brought them in and they're like, don't read the comics.
Yeah, bring your own spin to it or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like that doesn't work for anybody.
Yeah, it's good for a reason, man. People like it for a reason.
Yeah. That's always the thing.
Yeah, so there are very few things that I will sign off on saying don't accuse me of not reading comics.
Yeah,
is one of
that
thing,
was the worst thing.
Yeah, I was like, this must be the only thing he's ever seen of our clips.
Yeah,
and
if you see one clip and you just make a decision,
assume everything about who
Right.
I am and
Exactly.
and you end up looking silly.
Yeah, and then clearly you could not have read the comics yourself because the Echo character isn't like that.
Yeah, you're already contradicting.
Yeah,
what
what are you talking about? What have you read that you're saying this? Yeah,
which comics are you telling me to read?
Right.
Yeah.
Which ones have you read that support
What's this going on?
whatever
here?
you're trying to say?
And anyway, so the point is just that we just wanted to dispel a little bit of that going on. And I know most of our listeners know that we're not sexist, racist pigs overall.
But, we hope.
Yeah, we hope. But I mean, again, man, like.
Yeah, but I mean, there is. Yeah. In our opinion, and maybe we're wrong. But it seems like there is an issue as far as there is 100%. There's always been an issue with female characters in Hollywood in general. There's always been an issue. It seems like as far as action movies are concerned, very few of them get it done right and get it done well. And I think the majority of that, at least right now, it feels like a lot of that is coming from Marvel, unfortunately. It's coming from Disney and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like they're so interested in telling like this, whatever narrative they're trying to pass off, that they write these characters that nobody really is interested in. And you end up getting stuff that nobody wants to watch and nobody wants to see. You know what I mean? I mean, people typically will tune in and they'll watch certain things just because they want to watch it. They want to see what's going on. Like when The Force Awakens came out, like a lot of people wanted to see another Star Wars movie, so they ran out and saw it. And then they just got worse and worse. Yeah. I still don't understand like the whole First Order. Like they came back? Like the Empire came back?
How they come back in that full force?
Yeah, like what's that was my first thing. I thought we beat them already. Like
they're gone,
and now now you guys are rebels again. It just felt like, wow, you guys have got like no storytelling game. So you said, well, let's just go back to what they did back there. So no, but it's over. No, let's just bring it back again. Okay. Now they're doing that with the series. It feels like now they got to find some way to spin. Yeah. The whole First Order and all that, whatever stuff going on. Anyways, that's not what the show's about.
Yeah. Not at all.
Anywho.
I guess that's gonna end our talk, huh?
Yeah.
We've talked enough about this,
right?
But it'll probably pop up here and there,
probably,
if they don't change things in Hollywood. But I don't know.
Anyways,
let's get into what we're into this week real quick. I watched that documentary, Clerk, which is about Kevin Smith.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, finally came on the Tubi.
Really? I mean, documentary about it.
I fully intended on buying it on Prime. I was gonna buy it, but I'm broke as always. Pays until next Friday. So, there you go. But I ended up just Google searching it, and it came on Tubi recently. So,
cool.
Watched it on Tubi.
Nice.
It's great, man. Basically telling his whole story from essentially Clerks all the way up to
He-Man.
Not quite as He-Man, yeah. Jane Silent Bob like reboot or something like and up to kind of when he had a heart attack basically.
Ooh.
Like it's up to that, and it's just the story of his life, man. It's amazing. It's
That's
a
cool.
really
That's
good
cool.
documentary, man. Check it out if you get a chance. It's called Clerk.
It's called Clerk?
Yeah, it's called Clerk. Yeah.
Okay. Singular.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty great. Really inspiring and awesome, man. And then I think that's all I saw. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Let's see. I was watching that Undid Unluck. That's gonna be. I know that was originally. I know we said that last episode. We're gonna talk about this time, but we are not. The series isn't over yet, so we're gonna wait till the series ends before we talk about it. But I was watching that quite a bit. For whatever reason, I was on quite a bit of bed rest this week, so I started watching. I wanted to see if it was going to be as good as I remembered it was going to be. So I started watching Flight of the Conchords. I think it came out in 2011.
Oh, that long ago, huh?
Yeah, that long ago. So anybody that is a fan of Flight of the Conchords, you can, unless you're, listening.
Yeah.
Team Building Exercise 99. You get it. If you've seen the show, you get it. If you haven't, watch the show so you will get it, and you'll be like, oh, that shirt's hilarious. You'll get it. But yeah, it was great. I hadn't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a quick question. This would be a question for everybody else out there too. Like for me, when this show came out, this was my show. It's almost like my television watching world revolved around this show.
Okay.
Right. So for me, this was the equivalent of a comfort food kind of thing.
Like The Office for me.
Right. Okay. So you know what I was going to say. That's my question. Like, what is your comfort show? Or let me ask you this too, because I know you love The Office. I know there's a couple of shows that you love. Like, what show like takes you back to like when you were like 14, right?
Yeah.
So last year, and like what, you know what I mean? Like one that it just like you watch that and just takes you back to a whole different time moment, and that's like what you. Like it just makes you, it just relaxes you kind of thing in your core. It's like that great nostalgia kind of feeling. Like, do you have a show like that? I'm sure.
I mean, that is The Office, because The Office premiered in 2005.
Oh, wow. Was it that long ago?
When I was 15, yeah.
Wow.
So I caught that when I was in high school, right when I was in the middle of the film program in high school too, or the media arts program.
Yeah.
So it came in.
Oh, that really is your jam then.
Yeah, it was a very developmental time of my life. Yeah, so it came in right when I was like developing.
Always pushing it.
Yeah, right? Developing my sense of comedy, my sense of storytelling. Character development, right at the perfect time, and so that, and then plus I was really into like the dry, sarcastic humor. Like
that's great.
I was really into like the British humor at the time too, and so that kind of just it all crash coursed from that point. So that was The Office for me.
Right.
And even now, I still think it's a good show. It's really funny. It's also
it holds up.
Really,
you can
really
watch
well.
that show now, and it's
so good. But that would probably be that show.
Yeah.
That's
other ones? Because I knew I had a couple, right? Like for me, and I was thinking about it. Like it was Flight of the Conchords, Firefly, I think Community.
Oh, Community, yeah.
Right. So I mean, they're all comedies. I got to have some real ones in there.
I mean, I could never get into like anything more than I think the 28-minute sitcoms, like anything like long hour-long shows. I could never finish, man.
Yeah.
So I'm probably with comedies. Always Sunny, I kind of got hooked on to later, so that probably wasn't really a nostalgia show for me. Spaced, maybe I watched Spaced when I was around the same time.
Oh yeah, Spaced is good.
Yeah, that one reminds me of a lot of times where I was then. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? For me too. And this is I didn't even. I mean, I watched it years ago, but well, two things that are like comfort food for me. So it's not even that I watched them like, in my childhood.
Yeah.
But the IT Crowd, talking about British comedy, the IT Crowd. And then there's a show on Netflix called Dairy Girls.
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned it before, but it's this great 90s-ish time frame, like late 80s, early 90s. I think those characters are about around my same age. Maybe that's the reason why it resonates.
Yeah.
I think the same thing with Paper Girls, right? I was saying like those girls are around my same age. So I know that age and that time, like I'm there. I get where they are, what they're going through. And it's the same thing with Dairy Girls. It's just in Ireland.
Yeah.
But I think I'm somewhere around that same age as those characters.
Got it. Yeah.
So all the like the 90s references that they were bringing up, it was like, okay, I get that. You know what I mean? It's just one of those shows, like for whatever reason, I saw it, I latched onto it, and I just like love it and feel good watching it kind of thing.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
I
sense.
mean, hopefully everybody's got some shows out there.
Yeah.
That are like that. You know what I mean? That that, like I said, it's like your comfort food.
Yeah. No,
your
I
comfort
agree.
show.
I'm trying to like really think now that there's probably more movies than there are shows
okay.
that I'm thinking about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Back to the Future, obviously.
Yeah. That one always.
That
brings something up in me. Always just brings everything up in me, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a handful of them, but yeah, I get it. Flight of the Conchords still holds up, right?
Which one?
Flight of the Conchords still holds up.
Yeah. I was really worried. Yeah. I was really worried about watching it because I was like, oh man, I loved this show.
If it's
like it's gonna kill me if I go back and watch it. I'm like, that's. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like it doesn't carry over very well.
Yeah,
sometimes
I remember it being better than it was. Yeah,
yeah, and that would have like just broken my heart. But I started watching it, and Yeah, it was like it was like okay,
Still got it,
it is built right up. I'm like, it's still me, it's gold.
I swear I've probably seen the first 5 or 6 episodes 10 or 11 times through.
Yeah,
I've always gotten through. I always get through those first 6, maybe 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Like every time, and every time I watch it,
it's so ridiculous, so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but man, it is, and the songs are hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
those guys,
and they're
great
good,
songs,
but they're hilarious. And, man, but it's just,
and they cover so many genres, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
they cover like there's 80s, there's techno, there's pop, there's rap,
alternative rap, there's rap. Yeah.
The rhinoceros, the hippopotamus.
I love. Yeah. Oh, and Reese Darby was so funny in that show to me. Reese Darby.
Oh yeah.
Gosh damn, dude. I
Jermaine.
Check here. Murray. I'm here. Why he called your own name? But he was so funny.
Yeah,
that's why
he was fantastic in that.
Just like,
great supporting character.
Right. And just how dry and but sarcastic, but I don't want to say like matter of fact, but it's real. Like it's just so.
They're like so blissfully naive.
Yes,
in that story.
but so simplistic in who they are as people.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Man. It's so well done. The characters are so
Dave in there, like
Dave was the
Indian guy that ran the pawn shop.
I liked him.
He had a couple of lines in there, like he was having. I won't say it here because he was having this real like what you think is like this sentimental opening up moment.
Yeah,
and he talks about like when these puppies were born. Do you remember that? I feel like. It's not too vulgar to say. I won't say it. When he said, I was like, dude, you're garbage. Like he was like trying. He seemed like he was opening up, but then he says this thing, and it's like, you're worthless, dude. You are so worthless.
But I'll always remember the one line he has. It's not even that really hilarious of a line, but. He's asking. Like it's like the first second episode, and then
he's like, try the
rum
about
where we're from. He's like, I'm from England or what? He's like, no, we're actually New Zealand. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit.
These are your friends, dude.
New Zealand actually. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like so, like all right, like that line always makes me laugh my ass off. It's not even that like clever of a line. It's not. Right. It's just delivery, timing, and with the people he's with. Like, aren't you guys like buddies?
Yeah, dude. What do you? How do you
know where he's from?
Yeah, I get him not knowing because he's such an idiot. But like, he's like, oh, you just don't give a shit. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
British, right? Nah, New Zealand.
Kristen Shaw.
Oh
is dynamite in that.
Yeah,
dynamite.
Yeah.
Man, she is so funny and scary at the same time, and she does it so well.
Yeah.
Man, she's gold. There were so many actors that I feel like the first time I've ever seen them was on that show, or the first time I saw them doing something separate, I'll say.
Yeah.
Never heard of Kristen Shaw before. That was her big breakout role, I would say.
Yeah.
The first time I ever saw Aris Ansari was on that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the fruit vendor.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about it too until I started watching it. And I'm like, oh shit, he's him. That was my first time seeing him. There were a lot of actors that got the first time I saw them outside of something else. Like there were even a couple actors from SNL.
Yeah.
Man, I can't think of her name. She was in, what is that? It wasn't Wedding Crashers. Bridesmaid, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the main act. Have you seen Bridesmaids? Okay, if you're thinking about it, then
Kristen Wiig.
Yes, Kristen Wiig. The first time I saw her in anything outside of SNL was on that. I think she just left SNL and then she did this. There were a couple other actors that went from SNL to this. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. The guy that was MacGruber. First time I saw him outside of it, he was that. The first time outside of SNL. Like, I don't want to say he went right to this, but he went, right to that. But anyways, I don't want to, take up too much more time about it. But so watch that. Love it. Check it out. It's on Max.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. I guess we got through it. Yeah. Yeah,
let's wrap it up. Yeah.
We always say we're gonna keep it short.
Never happens.
Short
Every
topics
single time.
We do. Yeah, I'm gonna just
Every
stop
single
saying
time.
it. I'm gonna just stop saying it.
You're jinxing us.
But anyway, next week we were trying to segue a little bit into the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
Because like a prime example of a
great
well
female
written,
character,
strong
yeah.
character. You know, a female
Right.
character.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen any of them.
Right, I know. I was.
yeah,
wearing,
which is
hopefully,
weird.
everybody noticed the shirt I was wearing one day.
That one time,
I've
yeah,
worn 2 Alien shirts.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Went out of my head. Yeah.
I never saw it.
Yeah, but it's been something I've been wanting to see for a long time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't got into it, and I'm now learning there's a lot more to it than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, so we're gonna cover just the Alien franchise in general.
Yeah,
I'm trying to watch as many as I can between.
I guess
now
I'm
and
gonna have
then.
to too. I've seen the first 2
Yeah.
and love it.
But
I think we're gonna have a little bit of as of right now, I think we would have a debate of between 1 and 2.
Yeah,
But go ahead and
I
watch
definitely go see
2.
it first.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
Because James Cameron has done a lot of great, like Terminator. We were just talking about Terminator.
Yeah.
And like Avatar, and there's a handful of movies
Titanic,
he's done.
yeah.
That have been great. You know, great movies. So you know, I'm leaving it open.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway, point being, we're gonna get into that. Most likely, we'll probably just talk about 1 and 2 for the most part.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to watch as much of it as I can.
Yeah,
so I
same
can
here.
Really
Same here.
try
I'll
to
do the same.
gather everything I can about it.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the Joss Whedon one though. 'Cause
Oh.
I just
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you left up to me, it'd just be 1 and 2.
yeah.
Matrix is a trilogy, and to me, Indiana Jones is a trilogy. I know we talked about that too. So yeah, there are a couple of things for me. It's like you need to just stop right here. But yeah, I'm with you though. I am going to watch the other Alien movies that are out there as well. And
I'm not gonna waste the time with Alien versus Predator though. Like that's
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
leaving that
a whole
behind.
different thing.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's only the specifically Alien franchise.
Exactly. Cool. So join us in that next week. We get into a lot of discussions. Hopefully.
Yeah, go watch those.
Yeah, definitely. That's it, I guess, huh?
Yeah, man.
Yes, we did it.
And
All
again.
right. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for checking us out.
Appreciate it.
We love doing this. We hope you guys love listening to us. I love a strong word.
Or at least it gives
Enjoy
you
a little
something to think about as you're listening.
If you learn one thing from our show, I'll be happy. Yeah.
If you learn 2 things, I'll be twice as happy.
Yeah. And then if you subscribe and leave a review, I'll be 3 times as happy.
If you send me money.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
There's a lot of things that make me happy, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, as always, my name is Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this has been
Geek Off the Street. Okay, go. I don't know.
Yeah, man, how did we talk for an hour and 26 minutes?
That always
How do we not?
always happens.
Yeah.
Always happens.